So today I'm going to tell you about that one single habit that I tried in my life and it completely changed my life. Okay, we're going to have some tea in the meantime. Now, what was happening was that I was watching all these videos about different routines and different productivity advices and none of them actually worked for me. For example, Robin Sharma says wake up at 5 o'clock. I couldn't wake up at 5 o'clock. Barack Obama says I work late in the night and till 2 in the morning I'm writing stuff. Didn't work for me. So here, this is one habit that I'm going to talk about today, which is magically going to make you understand every single thing about you. What works for us? Do we like waking up, sleeping? What is it about us? And then once you know at the end of this the results, the astonishing results that you're going to see, it is going to change your life forever. So let's get going. So one thing for 7 days, for 1 week continuously, and it's called tracking. No, it's not about tracking tigers in a jungle. I tracked 3 things about myself. Now, most of the videos that you're going to see on tracking are going to talk about which system to use. It doesn't matter what system you use. You can use a notebook for 75 rupees. I used an Excel spreadsheet where I took 3 different tabs and I tracked 3 things. Let's talk about the 3 things. The first tab was called time and productivity. Now, in that, I tracked 3 things. How much time I spent on which activity and how it made me feel, the emotion. For example, if I'm sitting in the morning while having breakfast and I'm reading some funny astrology columns or something like that in the newspaper and I'm laughing, then I say, okay, breakfast plus newspaper, 30 minutes, happy emotion, laughter. Similarly, whatever activity I did during the day, how much time I spent on it, what was that activity, and very importantly, how it made me feel. Now, it was surprising what I found out by the end of it, because I thought that waking up early is the thing to do, it's the best thing. I found that when I woke up at 5 o'clock, I was very restless throughout the day. I didn't find myself being very productive in the second half. So for me, it was more like waking up at 7 o'clock. Also, I found that if I drank something late in the night, then I was not able to function well the next day. Now, low carbs is great, but I found that if I had no carbs on a particular day, I was not happy, I didn't sleep well, and then the next entire day got spoiled. So at night, if I had one little rice and dal or something, usually it led to greater productivity. So point I'm making is, this is all about me, it doesn't matter. What is important is when you start tracking, you will find exactly your sweet spot. What works for you? What routine works for you? When are you most productive? What makes you happiest? Very, very important. We can be super productive and hate it, or we can be a little less productive and enjoy it. So first tab was called time and productivity, and I measured 3 things: how much time, which activity, and how much emotion. Now let's go to the second tab. Second tab was called money and spending. In that again, I measured 3 things: how much money I spent, on which activity, and how it made me feel. Example, in the past I tried to make budgets and they just didn't work for me. So here, noting down exactly how much money I was spending every day on what activity. Now example, at the end of the month, I found that I had spent almost 1500 rupees on coffee. And I looked at it and I said, it would have been smarter for me to have invested in a coffee machine. But when I looked at the emotion and I looked at the activity, I found that I had gone out for coffee with my friends. And that made me really happy. So maybe having a coffee machine at home was not the answer. It was the happiness that was driving it. So see, you have to look at what money, what are you getting out of it, what happiness you're getting out of it, and finally that'll all add up. We don't know. I know a lot of times I say, I don't do any online shopping, and turns out when I started tracking, I realized how much online shopping I was doing. So same thing with us. So Peter Drucker said, what gets measured gets managed. So you want to manage anything. You want to manage your time, you want to manage your productivity, your money, your relationship, whatever you want to manage. Start by measuring it. Okay, now let's talk about the third tab. This can be a third tab on your Excel sheet if you're using an Excel sheet like me. If you're using a notebook, simple notebook divided into 3 parts. The first part was time and productivity. The second part was money and spending. And then you divide the third part of the notebook is where we are coming to. The third part of the notebook or the third tab is called exercise and eating. Now these are the 3 things I wanted to manage. You can manage anything that you like, but let's talk about exercise and eating. So again, within exercise and eating, I tracked 3 things. 1, how much I exercised during the day and at what time. That was exercise. How much I ate, what I ate during the day and at what time. And the third thing that I looked at was my energy levels. As a consequence of what I ate and exercised, how energetic did I feel the whole day. So very important that the third item that you measure is some emotion. It could be joy, it could be energy, it could be any emotion that you want to measure. Now, it was surprising. I thought that I love to exercise, but the day I exercised a lot, overdid it, I was not able to work well. I felt crabby the whole day. So what I discovered was, let's say if I exercised in the morning, in the gym, I noticed that I felt a lot better during the day. If I went for a walk, however, and I managed my food, I found that I was able to lose more weight. The gym didn't help me lose so much weight, but it made me feel more happy. So you started to discover these little things about yourself. What time in the day I was eating, what I was eating. If I had a very heavy meal, I felt sleepy after that and I didn't enjoy it. But if I gave up sweets entirely, so for example, that 1 spoon of moong dal halwa, that makes me really happy. But if I have 2, 3, 4 spoons and I have a whole bowl, then guilt takes over and I don't feel happy anymore. So that 1 spoon remains. It's not going anywhere, no matter how many diets I follow. And health and fitness is very personal. The reason it doesn't work for us because we're trying to follow someone else's diet, we're trying to follow someone else's health routine. It doesn't work for us. So this one habit of tracking for 1 week, and in that tracking you can experiment. So experimenting and tracking, I would say, for 1 week, exactly what you ate, what you exercised and how you felt at the end of it. This will open up your eyes to exactly what works for you. So at the end, you'll find that there's a sweet spot for everything, and you need to, through this tracking method, find your sweet spot. There's a sweet spot of how much you eat, what you eat, how much you exercise, what time you wake up and sleep, how much you work, who you hang out with. Everything has a sweet spot. Overdoing anything reduces the returns. Law of diminishing marginal returns start to set in. Doing too little of something also is not a great situation if you like doing it. So once you track, you'll find that sweet spot for each and every item that you track. Now, one pro tip here, don't try to track too many things. Again, sweet spot. Pick only 1 or 2 items that you want to track at a time. Try it for 7 days. And so here's what I want you to do. Again, 3 things. 1, identify what you want to track. I would recommend start with 1 item first. Okay, pick up 1 thing that you want to track. Find the 3 subsets of it that you want to track. Now, use any system that you want to. A worksheet, a notebook, doesn't matter. And finally, point number 3. So choose what you want to track it using any system. And point number 3, review what you've written down. Pick it up, read it, draw analysis from it, and make conclusions as to what are your sweet spots for all the items that you're tracking. And trust me, this one single thing is going to change your life. And now you can change my life by pressing that subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it. And also give me a thumbs up so that I make sure I keep making more videos like this for you. And happy learning!